call meeting to order. Shelley, can you do a roll call, please?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Here.
District 2, Councilman Pastor.
Present.
District 3, Councilman Leatham.
Present.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Here.
District 5, Councilwoman Giles. Here. District 6, Councilman Chipley.
Here.
Mayor Gumeros.
Here.
We have a quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Shelley. I want to invite Chief Robinson for the invocation, please.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful unto thee for this opportunity we have to be here to observe and participate in the governing of our city. We're grateful for those representatives here today that have dedicated their time to helping to make this community a better place. We're grateful to those men and women who serve this community and the citizens that reside here. We ask thy blessings be with this body this evening as they deliberate and make decisions, that they'll do so in a manner that will be pleasing unto thee. Please watch over and protect all those who serve in the community, and please bless and comfort those within our community who may be in need. These things we pray for in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll go to summary of current events, and we'll start, Charlene, on your side.
I don't really have anything.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything as well. Thank you.
Fernando?
No, I don't have anything, Mayor. Thank you.
Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank Public Works for all the work they're doing in District 2. They've been changing some new street signs, making them nice and visible for everybody. They've done a couple of speed bump projects for us there in District 2, and I appreciate all the work you guys are doing. And now we got a new sign in the district saying we're going to build a bridge, so thanks a lot.
Ready?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to say congratulations to those that are going to be recognized today for their years of service with the City of Globe. I know you're going to get a presentation on your own, but I wanted to say thank you. And, you know, when you hit those years of 15, 20, 25 years, that's true commitment to your job and your service to the community. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a few things. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to Officer Cody Hudson, Globe Police Department. He was the recipient of the NAT 2020 DUI Enforcement Officer of the Year this year.
Nice.
So that's a really big deal. So, AJ, you're not here. But pass the word along to him. That's quite an accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then another reminder of the Poppy Fest is March 5th through the 7th. And I believe the 6th of March, downtown Globe, they're going to close off part of Broad Street for vendors and what have you for the festival. So it should be a pretty big event. So if you can, come on down and support all the vendors and the local people. And then lastly, I just want to remind everybody, COVID's still here. Just, I know I have a difficult time doing it. Trying to remember.
Thank you, Mike. We did get our first poppy at the last Circle K on East Globe. The year, yeah, it popped up. So that was a picture taken by Gila County. I have a couple of things. First, I'll just give a COVID update. Again, January was our worst month since the pandemic started, as we're all aware of. We had 481 new cases in Gilman, Miami, and Claypool. It far exceeded any of the numbers in the previous time. But we do see some improvement. The first week in February, we only had 34 cases documented, which was 4 a day. If we look at January, it was 16 a day. Also, I want to commend Gila County Emergency Services, our health department, the Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center for advocating and for dispensing the vaccines. If you saw the news last night, Gila County was the first county in Arizona to reach phase 1C. So they ought to be commended for getting those vaccines out. So they're getting 1,400 a week to the area that they disperse between North and South Gila County. We also were told, and I know Chief Robinson is a part of the team, there's a mass vaccination that'll be taking place this weekend, the 13th and the 14th. And this is going to be for phase 1C or phase 1A, B, and C. And we're supposed to get 2,000 vaccinations over the weekend done. So it's going to be a huge vaccination. You have to live in Gila County. You can't come from Maricopa and try and get a vaccination, which some individuals are trying to do at this time. But it does kick you out of the computer because you have to sign up on the computer. So tell your friends, your family. Again, we'll be at High Desert High School from 8 o'clock to 6 o'clock this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. And I want to also announce the Trash Mob group. They've been building momentum, cleaning along the corridor, Highway 60 corridor, and they've been doing a heck of a job. Their next cleanup is the 27th, and it'll start at 8 o'clock, and it'll be from Escadilla and Highway 60 and going west down, I think, towards Kaiser Crossing. They want everybody to meet at 8 o'clock in the empty lot between O'Reilly's and Wells Fargo Bank. So if you're interested, they would love to see any volunteers come up and help, and they're going to continue to move on to continue to clean our corridor. And one last thing, we did have a stakeholders meeting this week, and again, this is on Highway 60 corridor cleanup. This was a meeting between the hospital, the county, we had the mines included in there, we had EDC, but this was to discuss the future project, and they are going to start advertising, hiring 2 people, and their main objective, their main goal will be to clean Highway 60 corridor, start at one end and go all the way to the other end. It'll be 5 days a week. So it's going to be a big project. This is something that has been told by many visitors about how awful our corridor looks because of all the trash and everything that's on there. So this will be a program, and I'm going to bring it to our council in our budget hearings. There'll be a lot of stakeholders to fund this program for this first year and see how it goes. They will be under the supervision of the county. The county will be the person hiring them or the agency hiring them. So we want to encourage cleanup. We're also going to encourage any business people that own property on any frontage. Take care of your front. Take care of your frontage. I mean, if everybody would do their part in it, our corridor would look a lot better. So that's all I have. Paul?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, thank you very much. Just a couple of short things. Really shout out to Gila County and their partnership with Cobra Valley Regional Medical Center and doing this getting up to speed and getting this vaccination program just working very efficiently. I recently got mine. It was like clockwork. It went very well. And so I think that the residents of Globe and of Gila County are being served very well by their local providers, and not an easy task. And it's their first, pandemic, and they're learning as they go, but they're doing such a job, and there's so much urgency to take care of everyone. So we're really thankful to them. The only other comment I had or announcement, tomorrow evening at 5:30 here in the City Council chambers, City staff will be holding a citizen review meeting for staff's proposed text amendment to the zoning ordinance, which will regulate recreational adult use marijuana in light of the passage of Prop 207, Smart and Safe Arizona Act. This meeting will be available to attend via Zoom. Limited in-person attendance due to the COVID-19 restrictions. And if anybody does want to find out about that, email us at it wants to zoom in. I'm sure there are other ways, but I know we're always checking council@globeaz.gov if you need a link or how to get into that Zoom meeting. I know there's other ways to find out, but you can always email council@globeaz.gov. Mr. Mayor, members of council, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we go to our first community call, the public. And again, if you want to make a comment, you're able to do that. We did allow 25% starting this week because of our numbers. But you can also email us in at council@globeaz.gov if you have a comment, or call our cell number at 928-200-0154. And Shelley, do we have anybody for the call to the public?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I have a couple of letters that were emailed in. One is from the Globe Downtown Association. Dear Mayor Gameros and council members, it has come to our attention that the Globe City Council is considering removing Councilwoman Charlene Giles from the Board of Directors of the Globe Downtown Association. Charlene is an important member of our board. She attends meetings and responds quickly to messages and telephone calls. She is valuable to us as a resource of information and serves as a helpful liaison between our organization and the city. Councilwoman Giles represents the city well and upholds the city's interest in our events and projects. Whenever asked, she immediately makes contact with the appropriate city officials to resolve problems and answer questions. Charlene volunteers her time and money anytime she is asked for all board-sponsored events and projects. She is respected, liked, and appreciated. We are unanimously, respectfully requesting that Councilwoman Charlene Giles not be removed as a city representative from our board. Sincerely, Jonelle Brantley, President of Board of Directors Downtown Association. Mr. Mayor, I have another letter from Jane Hale. As an officer of the High Desert Humane Society, I would like to address the removal of Councilwoman Giles from her committees. Councilwoman Giles was elected to serve her constituents in a meaningful way. I believe that the prejudice against her is unfair and creates a less than ideal atmosphere within city council meetings. City Manager Jepson seems more interested in growing city government than serving the people who live and do business locally. He has no interest in assisting the nonprofits serving our community. Give him a chance to increase the size of his city government and he is all over it. Mrs. Giles cares about her constituents and other members of our community and should be given a chance to better serve them rather than be removed. Mr. Mayor, let me check my phone.
I looked at that. I don't see any additional.
Okay, let me check my phone.
I'm responding to him.
I did too.
Oh, did you?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor.
That's all you have? Okay, thank you. So next, I'm going to open up the public hearing for a Type 7 beer and wine liquor license application for Pizza Hut number 28240 located at 1497 East Ash Street. So public hearing is open, and it's open for any public comment at this time.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Pizza Hut is under new ownership, and the new owner, Hot Pizzas LLC, has filed for a new liquor license, Type 7 beer and wine. So this is a administrative process through the Arizona liquor license. We received the liquor license. It's been posted for 20 days, and the clerk's office has received no comments.
And Mr. Mayor, members of council, and so this is a renewal with new ownership, and the license was existing. So there was a question about the 500-foot limitations between different agencies and church, school, things like that. So it is in compliant with those restrictions on distances because it is a renewal.
But we received no comments prior to this meeting at all from that.
No comments in email, and it appears from the audience, no comments from the audience.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing for public comment, and we'll go into item C, which will be a vote for consideration to approve the Type 7 liquor license application for Pizza Hut number 28240 located at 1497 East Ash Street, filed by agent owner Teresa June Morse and request to waive section 2-4-10 prior discussion rule.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for approval of type 7 liquor license for Pizza Hut. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining? Motion passed. So we'll close our public hearing and we'll resume our regular meeting, and we go to special presentations and ceremonial matters. And first on item A is Mayor and Council will recognize David Propeck, David Bejarano, Deborah Mayo, Debbie Mayo, and Devin Meintzer for 20 years of service with the City of Globe.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the council. This is a new program that's long overdue, where we're going to recognize employees with 5-year increments, 5, 10, 15, and on up. It's our pleasure tonight to start this with a really good group of long-term employees. And if we could, Mayor, on behalf of the council, if you could come down and when we call the recipient's name, if the recipient and their supervisor could come up and you could give them the award for their time, if that's good, all right with you?
Yeah, I think that'll work. And then if we can get a picture with all of council with them also.
Yeah, this is from all of council.
And yes, at the end, we'll gather with the.
So if we would like to start with Devin Meintzer with 15 years of service.
Hey, Chris, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, members of council, does AJ would like to make any comments before we about?
Sure, give him a mic, you bet.
AJ, just real quick, 30 seconds on.
You bet.
So council, mayor and council, I just want to tell you that Devin's been an employee with the City Globe for 15 years. He is part of the old guard. You know, he's there's very few people remaining at the police department that have, you know, we have a bunch of new people, and then Devin is the last of the old guard, and he brings a wealth of knowledge and dedication to the police department. He's an asset to the community, and he's been a pleasure to work with for the past 15 years. So Devin, thank you for a job well done.
Mander, if it's good with you guys, we'll let the supervisors give the award, and then we'll, as a council, come down and congratulate him and take a picture, okay? Thank you.
Pick carefully.
Do it on the right.
Pretty nice. Those are different, yeah.
Oh, they're going to take them.
He was 15.
All right, next on the list,
That's long.
another long-term employee, David Bejarano, who's been with the city for 25 years. And I'd like maybe Gary to come up here and
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, it's my privilege to be able to honor David a little bit. I've had the unique position of having been led by David, having been a company officer in cooperation with David, and having been working in administration with him as a partner. He has been an exceptional asset to this department. His attention to detail, his focus, and his drive to make this department successful has been a significant asset to me, to our members, and to this community. I appreciate him for everything he's done, and appreciate this chance to honor those years of service. They're well deserved.
Next, we have another recipient that I said that we were going to do these in 5-year increments, but this is the special one with 27 years. We wanted to make sure that Deborah Mayo was honored with this award. So if Judge Perlman could come up and
Honorable Mayor, Honorable Council, it's my pleasure and my honor to stand here and give some congratulations to Debbie Mayo. I've known Debbie for close to my 25 years in Globe. She's a remarkable employee with the courts. She's knowledgeable well beyond my level of expertise. Everyone thinks that the judge is the part of the machine that makes the machine go, and really the case is that Deborah Mayo makes the court function the way it functions. She's super knowledgeable. She adapts easily to changes in technology, changes in rules of law, changes in court mandates from the Supreme Court. I don't think in all the years that I've known her, she's ever been in a bad mood. I don't know how she does that, but, and her husband, Alan, might say differently, but professionally, I don't think I could ask for a person of higher caliber, greater credibility, greater sensibility, and working with the public. She's just always on and always attentive and always goes out of her way to be super helpful with the public. And I think that is what really makes the machine not just function well, but shine. So I would like to thank Debbie for all of her dedication and all of her help. She's helped me solve procedural questions and issues when I've had them. And all I can say is heartfelt thank you so much for your service and your dedication. You're awesome. You're welcome. I would say you're so awesome, just pick one. I left out one little part, and that is how proud I am.
And last, the recipient was unable to attend tonight, but with 31 years, Dave Propeck is being honored for his time with the city. And maybe, John, can you just get up?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, I'd like to thank the staff and yourselves for taking this opportunity to acknowledge these employees. It makes, takes a great a group of people that we do on a daily basis. Councilman Rios once said it, we trust our professionals. I can assure you Dave Propeck, not only Dave Propeck, but these others as well are professionals. On a day-to-day basis, we look out for, the help that we need in the field, and there isn't any part of the city in 31 years that I could say that Dave hasn't been in, working amongst crews. That I'm truly thankful for, and great respect for that, for that work. Like I said, he has been one of the go-to people throughout the years. Just this week alone, he takes on, challenges that we look towards. Often in our WIFA projects, we've gone to that well, of knowledge and the experience that he has in fabricating multiple projects for us. So I just want to thank you as a council and staff, city manager, for doing these types of acknowledgements. And like I said, I thank Dave for his years of service, because it truly is, and I'm proud of the fact that he's done what he's done throughout. He was there when I started, so so I thank him. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, remember, oh, go ahead.
We can have them come up again and we'll get a picture with the entire council with them. You guys can come up.
Yep. And so, see, we've been lining up against that wall. So, how do you want to do a big? I don't know if everybody's gonna fit this time. Yeah. Linda, help me with this. What's how do we? Yeah. Okay. Scratch the wall thing. Let's get council down here, and then we have the recipients out here. Okay. So council line up. And then now short people in front, tall people in the back. Who else is missing? Yeah. Are we gonna?
Yay, Debbie. Yay, Debbie. Yay, David.
Yeah. He's
He's our head.
he's at Cutter.
He's our head welder.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just a little bit of context. Our plan in going forward is, as people hit their 5-year, and we just kind of started because we had some important 5 years coming, we're going to expand this going down from 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, if need be. And then we're going to hit them close to their start date. And so the people here represented started in January and February of the year, if you do the math for how many years of service. And as we get to other months, we'll pick up people who started in March and April, May and June. And so we'll gather them as their anniversary comes up. And so you'll see this as we go through the year. Thank you very much.
Congratulations to all of you. It's very commended on all your years with the city. Item B, council will hear an update on the City of Globe Business Relief Grant Program. Paul?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, I'm going to ask that we table this until after the E-session that we have scheduled for tonight. We really can't give a true update on this until we have that chance to talk in E-session, come back. We had our meeting with U.S. Treasury, and we need to brief council before we come back and make the final announcement that or update as to the status of the program and its viability and continuing. So I'd ask you to table this, and then we'll bring it back at the very end of the meeting.
We need a motion to table at this time.
I would believe yes.
So moved.
Motion a second to table item 4B. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. So item C is council will hear an update on administrative organizational changes within the city. Paul?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, the prior, I think about 2 or 3 months ago, we did some changes, brought that forward, moved some money around, and did some reorganization and development services. Since that has worked very well. The structure we put in place, we're getting busy and we're able to handle that. It's very helpful. And we're more responsive, and the measure of this council is to get out, to allow a business to grow and make sure that we support them in any way we can. That has worked out. There is one additional change that I want to announce that I intend to make starting tomorrow or immediately. And that is I want to go ahead and we're going to promote and reassign John Angulo as Public Works Director. All right, and then Jerry Barnes will remain as City Engineer and in charge of the engineering department, and John will be in charge of the Public Works Department. And so Jerry has plenty to do with 2 bridges and core projects and things like that. John has a lot to cover with the elements of taking care of the operations, maintenance, and repair. Jerry will be in charge of the improvements in all our infrastructure. And so he will come up, and they will both be direct reports to me. They will both be director levels. It is revenue neutral in the way that we don't need to move any money. And so it's the last piece of the puzzle, I think, is to make John a director level.
Mayor and council, I just want to assure you that, of course, of my years of service, going forward, keeping the city's best interests and our residents at heart, and mayor and council's request, going through Paul Jepson and the confidence that you're instilling in me for this position. Wholeheartedly thank you. Truly won't do everything I can and not let the city down. So, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, that these efficiency changes we're making, we have the right people for the right jobs. We're getting them in there, and I know this is going to add to that efficiency to share up the work, and you will see those results. I guarantee you. Well, I promise you. Mr. Mayor, members of council, unless there's any questions, thank you very much.
I want to congratulate John, a position well deserved. And I know, Jerry, you're busier than heck now, I know, with the bridges and the way we're going with all as part of a lot of these development meetings and investors that are really wanting to come to our community. I think it's important and that's what we wanted from the beginning, to build a strong development team. Our engineering, our zoning administrator, all that plays a big part in where we're moving for the future. And I think we got big things coming in the future with amount of interest for our community. And I'm sure Jerry's going to be very, very busy with what he's doing. Congratulations. Item D, council will hear a presentation detailing an action plan process in response to findings contained in the City of Globe employee survey results. Paul.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we announced the results of the employee survey last week or 2 weeks ago, last council meeting, and Councilmember Leatham asked for a little bit more detail on the action planning we're going to do. Based on that request, we have a quick PowerPoint, I think about 4 slides, and I think Danny's going to throw that up there somewhere. And am I driving or is he? Okay, Mr. So, just want to get the terms straight because there's a lot of terms that are out there, and just want to go over this real quick. The action plan is the lingo we're using for the administrative response to the concerns raised in the employee survey. So this is we've heard the highs and some of the concerns, and so the action plan is to remedy those. The goal of the action plan, increase favorable responses in areas identified. And so that's what we will be achieving. The basis of the action plan is clear understanding of the concerns reflected in the survey. Okay, so the survey was responses from the members. We want to dig a little deeper and make sure that the problem that we're trying to solve truly is the problem that needs to be addressed. And so we believe that a number of focus groups is the best method to identify solutions for concerns of employees. The best way to identify solutions for concerns of employees is to ask them, how can we do better? Okay, so that is the terminology I'm using tonight. So the process. We intend to, in the very near future, hold an initial focus group for employees organized by departments and open to all. So it won't be a cross section of the department, but everyone will be invited during the daytime and asked to attend. At these, we're going to in these we will have these focus groups and ask those questions. How can we do better? After that, we will take that back, and with the leadership team, we will develop draft action plan responses to address those. We will hold a second focus group for all the employees, same structure, and bring back with a narrower desire to critique what we're bringing forward. So we get the feedback, go back, put a plan together, run it back by the people who we're trying to make that we're going to apply this to, get their critique on that action plan, finalize that action plan proposal with the leadership team. We got to make sure it's workable and everything. And then, but before we go out and implement that, the key point, we need to train supervisors to support and implement the action plan proposal. This is going to be a lot of communication and a lot of support. Our leadership team needs to be at the forefront of any implementation of any fixes. And so we'll do the training, and then we'll finally do the implementation citywide as a policy department-wide. And some will overlap and some will be specific. And is that the... Yep. And so... I missed a slide. Oh, did I slide by the breakdown?
Have it.
Well, I dropped a slide. There's one more slide that I did not include in here, but I have it in mind. Mine to print it off. I've never lost a slide in the PowerPoint. It's called breakdown. And this is just kind of attendees. Let me just read this to you. Attendees, the slide says, all employees and managers who choose to attend. So just to be sure, it's open to anyone who wants to take the time to do that. It'll be during the workday and it'll be scheduled. The departments, we'll break the departments down to public works workers, public works supervisors. Then there'll be a third session for fire, fourth session for police, admin, library, museum, fifth session, and active adult center. It'd be admin by itself, and then library, museum, and active adult. So those would be the breakdown. Let me go over that again because you don't have a slide to look at. Public works workers, public works supervisors, police, fire, admin, and then the slashes, library, museum, and active adult. Each one is about 20 people, give or take. Facilitators will, and everybody from the department will be in there except for the directors and their number twos. So any directors, number twos, and deputy chiefs, commanders. The facilitator will be HR staff and myself. And then the focus group meeting location. What we intend to do, I think this is the hard one, but we got this idea from what the police are doing, is we're going to schedule the Hollis theaters. And hopefully they're hearing us. I don't know that I know they're doing it with the police. We haven't scheduled it yet, but that way we can bring everybody in, schedule them, they show up, and they'll have their full ability to sit safely separated, but have engage and participate in these focus groups. So that is the completion of my presentation. I'm ready for questions.
Any questions from council?
I guess just your timeline.
Pardon me?
What is your timeline? When do you think this will start?
I'm
ongoing, I'm assuming.
Depending
so.
on how quickly we can focus, we can set up the minimum 10 days, 2 weeks at the minimum. If we can get it within the next 2 weeks, we'll start. We're that close to ready to start.
And to follow up, periodic updates to council?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll be able to share with the meeting days, what we met, the back and forth. Be sure to kind of give you that back and forth as to when we meet. No, it's in everybody's best interest. We get this done sooner rather than later.
I agree.
And it'll be definitely front burner. I think, and so as quickly as possible, as long as we want to make sure that everybody can attend. I think the only hiccups would be if there's a major incident or project or anything like that. I want to make sure that we don't schedule it so fast that not everybody can attend.
Okay.
But
that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you, Jess. Anybody else? Fernando?
Mr. Mayor.
No, I'm good.
Freddie, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I would just, on that, I would like to really encourage our staff to engage themselves in these workshops or whatever they may be, however they're rolled out. This is important to obviously the mayor and council, but more importantly, it's important in growing the fabric of the city and its employees. To get that feedback from staff, at all levels, from entry level all the way to the directors. I think this is a great opportunity for all of you to come together, speak your mind, and see how we can improve your jobs. And with that, with job improvements, I think the service to the community will go hand in hand. So I really want to encourage everybody to participate. Thank you.
Next, we have consent calendar. Matters listed under the consent calendar are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. Public hearing items are designated with an asterisk. Prior to consideration of the consent agenda, the mayor will ask whether any member of the public wishes to remove a public hearing item for separate consideration. Members of the council and/or staff may remove any item for separate consideration. Item A, consideration of waiver of section 2-4-10A prior discussion rule to allow action on the balance of the consent agenda. Accounts payable, $451,019.14. Consideration of approval of council minutes, January 26, 2021, summary minutes. Consideration of agreements and purchases of less than $25,000. Consideration of program contract number 2021-0002 to the Clover Valley Youth Club. Ratification of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers project request letter for McCormick Wash. Is there anybody from the public, the council, or staff wishing to remove any of these items?
I would like to remove 5B.
Okay.
Mayor, I would like to do 5C, please.
5C. Okay. Any other removals?
Mr. Mayor, if there are no other questions or comments, I motion that we accept the consent agenda as read and move, I'm sorry, Charlene, was that 5B or D?
B as in boy.
5B and 5C for further discussion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, for approval of consent agenda minus B and C. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining? Motion passed. We'll go back to item B, consideration of agreements and purchases less than 25,000. Charlene?
So my question is, where is this money coming from? The $13,705. Is that money coming from the CARES money, the general fund? Where is it coming from?
Money for what?
It's for the flooring, $13,705.50. It's for the flooring for City Hall.
My understanding is that it's general fund CIP money.
It was in the CIP?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I did not see it.
I'll confirm that with Jeannie.
Okay.
Okay.
Any other questions on item B? You have motion for approval of item B?
Motion made.
Second.
Motion second for approval of item B. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. Item C, consideration of program contract number 2021-0002 with the Culver Valley Youth Club. And Mike.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, thank you. The question I have is my understanding that the Culver Valley Youth Club used to be Globe Miami and everybody else. Are those kids all included, provided those services through the Culver Valley Youth Club?
So I am president of the board of the Culver Valley Youth Club.
Answer.
And
Well, I know this group's here.
sure. So yes, Globe Miami, San Carlos, Central Heights are all included.
Okay.
It used to be the Boys and Girls Club.
Right.
It then went away some time ago under Fernando's reign as president of the board, and now it's its own 501c3. And that is, with that, the name was changed to Culver Valley Youth Club.
Okay. Now, does the county and, say, the town of Miami or the tribe contribute any
the county
monies?
does give some money, but not budgeted.
Okay, just curious of that. All right, I'm fine, Mr. Mayor. Question answered.
Any other questions on item C?
Motion to accept.
Second.
Motion is second to accept item C. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Motion passed. Brings us to new business. Item A, discussion and consideration to approve IGA 20-0008014-1 with ADOT for the Pinal Creek Bridge, Cottonwood Street, structure number 9711, Cottonwood Street Bridge to South Tebb Street Bridge replacement. Funding for this project is through the ADOT Off-System Bridge Program for $1 million and requires a local city match of approximately $500,000. This local match will be funded through the 1/2 cent excise tax number 12080-52200. And we're also requesting to waive the rule, section 2-4-10, prior discussion rule. And that's Jerry.
Mr. Mayor, members of council. So Cottonwood Bridge qualified for a off-system bridge grant. We applied for it. We were awarded it. It was up to $1 million. Total cost on it is about $1.5 million. In anticipation of getting the grant, we didn't know exactly what it was going to be for. We laid aside $416,000 out of the 1/2 cent excise tax, which is a fund that keeps that we can carry forward is a better term for it. So the money's there. It's in the CIP, and the additional 80-some thousand we should, if it's needed, we'll have in the next fiscal year. We'll have to carry this 416 forward because construction on this bridge is probably not going to happen until April of next year. So anyway, in order to get it going, in order to get the designers on board, we need to get an IGA signed with ADOT sooner than later. they're anxious enough that when I told them that our legal had approved the contract, which by the way they have, they had me they had the draft revised and sent back to me as a contract within the hour. So they're anxious to do this to get the design off the ground. That's why we're asking you to waive the rules. So, any questions?
Questions, comments for Jerry?
I have a comment. Thank you again for getting the city
Yeah.
money that we would have to take out of our coffers and other services and other departments.
Our pleasure.
So thank you so much.
So the money's out there, you just have to chase it.
Well, you have to know how to chase it.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no other, if there's no other questions or comments, I motion to waive.
I'm sorry, I had a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got a comment? I got one too, just to.
Any chance on getting the walking bridge?
So the walking bridge is not even on our list with ADOT. So the only chance of getting that is if we fund it. Yeah. So there's no way of even applying for that under this program.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'm saying I don't.
We actually tried unsuccessfully to use this program to get the Connie's Bridge. And because we're the $1 million cap, we were going to have to come up with the other 2 million. And so that's why we went the route we did on that. And, we were granted by state appropriations 2.8 million.
So what's the dollar figure for the walking portion?
I would estimate probably at 700,000 probably. So.
Jerry, I have two questions. Start date, and then just explain the half-cent tax. We can only use that on certain projects, right?
We can only use it on transportation projects. The real difference between the half-cent excise tax that we get through the county and the HERF money that we get through the state is that the HERF money needs to be spent year to year, and the half-cent excise can be carried forward year after year after year. And that way you can build up larger projects. Well, the first year we didn't use the half-cent excise tax, so we took the money and we saved that $500,000 back in the half-cent excise, and that's what I kind of been banking on, hoping that this came through. So that's the difference in the two, and they can only be used on anything to do with transportation, infrastructure. So. You can use HERF money for operational transportation as well, but half-cent excise, they prefer you use it for infrastructure.
Thank you, Jerry. And like I said, you're vital to our part of our staff and being understanding, having the knowledge to go after this funding. And I know you're a big part of the $2.8 million for Connie's Bridge, and I mean, we thank you again for all your.
Well, you might want to thank Councilman Pastor on that one too, because he made sure that we got the half-cent excise.
That's $500,000 a year from the county.
So we get about 700,000, something like that, a little over that. And but this is just money that I set back for this bridge, knowing we would apply. There's still. And it's what we've been using to fund some of our road projects. You can see some of the road projects that are around town. We've been focusing mainly on the corridor, trying to get the US 60 tie-ins through the corridor, through our downtown area, to tie in our economic district as well. So, I'm making one tomorrow, in fact, that will finish Hill Street Phase 2 and Broad Street Phase 2, which will be from Cottonwood down to the new bridge. And if that's successful, we should be able to get the whole corridor tied in by this time next year.
Any other questions, comments?
Good work.
Then, Mr. Mayor, if no other questions or comments, I motion to waive the rules and move forward with the $500,000 match.
We have motion and a second for approval of item 4A IGA. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed.
Thank you, council.
Going to action item, and prior to 7A, I request that we go into a brief executive session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, yes, we ask that we take this out of order and go into the second E session. I think it's 12B. And we're going to do it a little differently. We're going to allow everybody to stay in the audience, and council's going to exit to the conference room. And then Councilman Shipley is going to phone in, and then we'll be good to go there. And then it shouldn't be too long, and we'll come back out and then go to 7A.
We gambled in?
Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. regular session meeting back into order. So we'll go back to item 7A, action items. Item A is council shall accept a final report as submitted by outside counsel Tina Vanucci of the investigation into allegations of violations of the City Code of Ethics for public officials by Council Member Charlene Giles, and possible vote to approve a final determination and impose sanctions as set forth by the Code of Ethics. Tina.
Yes, Mayor, members of council, thanks for having me. I'm Tina Vanucci from Fitzgibbons Law Offices. The investigation, is my mic on? The green light's on, yeah. Can you not hear me? Okay. The investigation is complete, as we discussed last time, and has been submitted to your city attorney. And what the Code of Ethics requires you to make the final determination on whether or not a violation occurred. Your code also allows you to impose sanctions, which may include a reprimand or censure or removal or exclusion from leadership positions, governing board, and other official positions or duties that do not conflict with the Arizona Revised Statute. So what you have in your packet is a draft document. So you'll see the first paragraphs that start with whereas are the recitals, which go through the history of where we've been. Mainly that there was allegations of a violation. You hired our office to conduct the investigation. At the conclusion of the investigation, Councilwoman Giles admitted to the three main facts at issue. The first, that there was an open meeting law violation. The second, that she negligently violated the Code of Ethics with respect to the council manager form of government. And the third, that because she found accusations against her spouse upsetting, she made statements that were critical of an employee that could have caused others concerned. Based on those admissions, we did not need a hearing officer to determine probable cause, which is how we're here before you tonight. Section 1 is the final determination that there was a violation, so that takes care of that provision of your code. Section 2 sets forth that Councilwoman Giles has already attended website training from the Arizona Ombudsman Citizens Aid and has agreed to attend training in person when it's available again. Section 3 is Councilwoman Giles' assurance that in the future she will comply with the city manager form of government, and also a direction from you to not otherwise violate the council manager form of government, including undermining or interfering with city employees in connection with the performance of their duties, which again is set forth in your Code of Ethics. Section 4 is the apology offered by Councilwoman Giles, and Section 5 and 6 are the paragraphs that deal with the potential sanctions as set forth in your code. You'll notice there's a blank in Section 5 that is for you to fill in with either reprimand or censure. So if you have any questions or want me to read any of the sections, feel free. Otherwise, I'll leave it to you to discuss.
Any questions or comments for Tina? So before we go further to any further discussion or vote, I'm going to give the opportunity for our council to make any comments. I will go around and give you the floor. If there is any comments you want to make, that's good. If not, then that's also good. So I'll start with Vice Mayor Mike Stapleton and work to my left.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to let Charlene know you're a great council person. Enjoy it. Want to behind us and move forward. I commend you for taking the online classes. Is that what you're doing? So I commend you for that. And like I said, this has been going on and on for too long. I want to get this over with and continue on a positive forward motion with the city. I know you've admitted to the open meeting law, breaking the open meeting law. I'm sure you know now that that's not acceptable. So what has been said in the past has been said. I don't want to continue to keep it up over and over and over again. The main thing that is disturbing is the cost, the 31 grand. So like I said, I'm not going to continue to repeat myself every meeting. So I'm sure you've admitted guilt and you understand that. So all I want to do, like I said, is move forward. So, and I said, I enjoy working with you, and I want to continue working with you. You just got reelected for 4 more. So let's continue to move forward in a positive manner. That's all right, Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. Ready?
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I think it's important that the people that are here tonight and those that are attending the meeting via online or some other means, it's important that this body, this council, demonstrates true transparency. There's been many times I've been in many meetings in the public where, for some reason, transparency seems to be a focus of what this council is lacking. And I will be the first to disagree with that statement and that comment. Transparency is an absolute must in this position, in the leadership positions that we hold. We are elected by our constituents, by the general public, to maintain a code of ethics higher than anybody might expect. And I agree. In this government, in this city-type government, we must hold ourselves to the highest standards and each other. And when those violations occur, this whole body assumes the responsibility. And I think that needs to be known. It's not just one. We are tied at the hip. And so these things cannot be taken lightly. These kinds of violations cannot be taken lightly by any of us. It's unfortunate that this happened. And it's unfortunate that we are put in a position by these actions, by Charlene's actions, that we have to take action upon ourselves or upon one of us. And I can probably safely say that nobody here takes any satisfaction in doing that. But what remains factual is that we have been put in a position, a very precarious position, by these kinds of actions that Charlene did and admitted to it. I too want to get behind this. I too want this behind us. But we are at a pivotal moment today, right now, where this body must come together and decide what is the appropriate action or the appropriate response or the appropriate disciplinary action. Charlene has a lot to give this community and this council. That has been proven. And I don't expect that to end. She's very outgoing. She's very energetic. She's very pro-community. And I think it's time that we take our position today and with support to Charlene and for Charlene to continue her good deeds in this community and with this body. We have a lot going for the city of Globe. for those of you that have stayed in tune with our meetings for the last few years, Mayor talks about it all the time. The potential that we have, the resources that we see wanting to come to Globe. For the last few months, we have been stalemated by this action that took place. And it has stalled us. And it has cost us. It costs not just emotionally, but financially. We cannot continue to go down this path to provide the best service to this community. Absolutely cannot go down this path again. So my wishes are that we get through today and we move forward to tomorrow. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Is this loud enough, Danny? Charlene, you came to me about 2-3 years ago and asked me if I would consider running for city council. And we talked, and I told you, yeah, I think I wouldn't mind doing that. And I can tell you the last 16, 18 months that I've been on this council, it's been pretty eye-opening. It's been surprising for me, some of the things that have happened over the last year. And I've really just kind of sat and been pretty quiet, not trying to get in anybody's way. But the last 6 months have been really rough. And I enjoy working with you. We've communicated many times about different issues in the city. I know you're a caring city councilwoman, woman. I know you believe in your constituency as I do. I think they come first before anybody. But I also believe in the law of governance, especially the open meeting law. I've been involved for some time in the political arena, and to me, that is the golden rule of being in government, is living by not necessarily the code of ethics, because I don't think I read it any more times than anybody else has read it. I sign on to it because I think I know it all. And that's an area that we probably need to review in the future, is the code of ethics. But the sanctity of the executive session and what's discussed there is so important to not only protecting ourselves, but protecting the public. And when that's violated, it just makes everything really, really tough to live by. And I just tell you, I want to work with you, and I'll be here to help you as much as I can. And I hope you'll be there to help me as much as I can. But I'm really, really concerned about this violation of the open meeting law. And I'll just leave it at that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mike. Fernando?
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I'd like to say that I think that Charlene is an outstanding human being and does a tremendous amount for our community. She gives of her own money and treasure and her time, and just her dedication to our community is just, second to none. So that being said, there are things that are required of us as a council. One is statutorily, we are set up as a strong city manager form of government. The city manager works at the will of the council. 4 people decide, or on the council decide that they don't want city manager's looking for a job, but everybody else answers to the city manager. So there was an accusation that there was some direction. I think all of us on council have called a department head and said, oh, by the way, I heard this or heard that, just giving you a heads up. The problem with that is that regardless of what your intent, if the perception is you're trying to tell them what to do, then you're doing something that we shouldn't be doing. None of us should be doing that. But again, it can be perception. The other thing is that the public's business always needs to be done in public. And so that's why if it's not on the agenda, we can't discuss it, because the people have a right to know what we're discussing and what we're thinking and why we're doing it and who's voting yes and who's voting no and who supports what and who doesn't support it. That's all part of being an elected official. But there are certain things, for example, personnel issues, some personnel issues, negotiations, lawsuits, things like that, that we have to know things that so that we can take proper action, and it can't be made public. And so whether you do that intentionally or unintentionally, it's still a violation of the open meeting law. And so you have to be really, really careful, and it's to the detriment of the city if some things get out that it's not meant for public consumption. And there's only very few things we can do. You can't unelect somebody. We can't say, Charlene, you got to go because you messed up. Well, that's not how it works. There's only a couple things we can do. Is we can basically scold her and say, for shame, for shame, for shame. And then the worst thing that you can do is take them off of assignments for committees or leadership things that are assigned by the council. So tonight we had a letter from a couple of organizations that asked for Charlene to stay as the appointed person from the city. But there's nothing to prevent those organizations from having her be a member of those boards, not the appointed person of the city. So if that's an issue, there's no reason why you have to get her off. It's just that the only thing that you can do as a council to one of your peers is to take away a leadership position or scold them, or both. And so that's what's got to be decided tonight. And so thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Fernando. Jesse?
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a lot to say, but what I have to say is I was brand new getting into this council, and what I've learned by being here is from what I've learned watching this council operate. With this investigation, I soon learned that it would behoove not only myself, but everybody else to make sure we know what the code of ethics is. And as it says, be revised every year or annually. That's something that we need to really take in consideration. As it was stated earlier by Councilman Shipley, is we've all called different department heads or circumvented in its own way city manager form of government. I don't know exactly. I read this draft that the public has, and I see that negligently or otherwise it was violated. Open meeting was violated, and I understand that why we have to take the course of action we have to take, and why it was so important to do what we have to do to keep that sanctity of I want to say it is open meeting law and executive session minutes, and understanding why we have to do it. I don't think this should take away anything that Councilwoman Giles has done or will continue to do. I think that she's an amazing asset for not only this council, but the city of Globe in general. She has amazing supporters out there. She has done so much for this community, and will, I hope, continue to do so much for this community. I look forward to working with you, Councilwoman Giles, in the future. And Mayor, that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesse. Charlene?
No, I'm going to take the high road.
Thank you. I too have had enjoyed working with Charlene for the past couple of years. We got elected at the same time. I know the last couple of months have been a trying time and been difficult for all of us, with this being as a distraction as to where we're going and where we're moving forward. And yes, I agree. We need to do what we need to do, and then move forward in a positive manner for the future. We are elected by our constituents. We represent our constituents as elected officials, but we also represent the city of Globe. It's our responsibility and our obligation to comply with the law, with the codes, with rules and guidelines as stated in item B of our Code of Ethics. Public officials are agents of public purpose and hold office for the benefit of the public. They are bound to uphold the laws of the nation, the state, the county, and the city, and to carry out impartially these laws in the performance of their public duties to foster respect for all government. These laws include, but are not limited to, the United States and Arizona constitutions and city ordinances. So Freddie, I think Mary mentioned transparency. This is all about transparency. A lot of this stuff has been done in each session to get to this point. But it is about ethics and it is about professionalism. Under our declaration, our ethics, it is a policy of the City of Globe to uphold, promote, and demand ethical conduct from its elected and appointed public officials. The citizens and the businesses of Globe are entitled to have fair, ethical, and accountable local government. You know, the first step in responding to any problem is to recognize that there is a problem. And we have an admission of those accusations, allegations. And I've heard in the community, I know the community is, and there's talk out there, and that I was mentioned, I have a vendetta against Charlene. That'd be the last thing I have against Charlene. This was brought forward to me by 2 residents and shared with 2 other residents. Once that was brought to my attention, it is my obligation as the chairman, as the mayor of this council, to report these allegations. There's nothing you can sweep under the table and not be transparent with us. There was a violation of our city codes, a violation of our state law, and we need to address these problems. And all of us need to look at ourselves, all our council, so it doesn't happen again. So we need to cure it now, but also cure it for the future of any elected officials. We as a body cannot condone this type of conduct. Yeah, it's painful to go through this process, but we need to go through it to get through it, to get through the process. And under the compliance and enforcement of our code, the City of Globe Code of Ethics expresses standards of ethical conduct expected for the public officials of a city council to assure that ethical standards are understood and met, and that the public can continue to have full confidence in the integrity, that's what it's about, integrity of this government. That is why we need to move forward, and I look forward to continue to work with Charlene, but we need to move forward with consequences. We can't just say move forward and not do due diligence. And whether it's a censure that we will be voting on or removal of committees, that's a decision this council needs to make. We need to make sure that we have been strong to show we've been transparent, to make sure that we have done our due diligence. We got a report from an attorney, and we need to protect the liability of the City of Globe. That's all I have.
Mayor, if I could, one thing I should have mentioned in my presentation was I did receive an email from Daisy Flores, who represents Councilwoman Giles. They did have an objection to the use of the word extremely in Section 5. So if that's something you guys want to discuss or include in any motion, either to include or remove that word, that was an objection brought forward.
And Mr. Mayor, I think we have one request to speak.
Okay. Any follow-up comments from any council? I'll open it up one last time before we move on to a request to speak. I have a request card from Michelle Yurkovich.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. I think it was unfair that I was publicly interrogated regarding my job and given a negative public job review in public on November 10th, 20. I was so upset by my treatment by two council members at that meeting that I filed a grievance. Council was given my grievance at an executive session that is confidential. It is my understanding that Councilwoman Giles released my grievance verbally or the actual document and released it to a citizen that made contact with a family member of mine. Let me tell you, my family is solid. We love each other. There's nothing that you could say about me that would affect my family's love for me. So Councilman Giles broke open meeting law. She doesn't have to have a public hearing because she obtained legal counsel. I wasn't given that courtesy when I was treated like that at that November 10th meeting, which is on YouTube to this day. To use her phrase back at her, the people want to know. I think the hearing should have been a public one so that everybody got to voice their concerns. One of the comments Charlene made to me at that November 10th meeting was about my iWorks program and it cost over $3,000, which is ironic because her breaking open meeting law cost the city over $31,000. I appreciate that the council and mayor has had this matter investigated. Councilman Pastor made a statement at the November 10th meeting that several of his constituents stated that they didn't care that I gave him a citation. They were offended at how I presented it. When he was pressed to give names between him and Councilman Giles, they only came up with 3 names. 2 of those were not even in his district and didn't even receive citations, but rather letters. And the one that was in his district was the one that Councilman Pastor tried to make me release the citation on. He called me and said, Michelle, I want you to release the citation. This is a horrible situation to be put in when a councilperson asks you to release a citation and tells a constituent that he was going to make me release it. This made my job 10 times harder because a citizen did not understand why I wasn't listening to a councilperson to release the citation. This was also the citation that when it went to court, both Councilman Giles and Councilman Pastor appeared in court to support the defendant. I'm writing citations based on their code. How is it right that they both went to that court with the defendant? They were there with the defendant's mom to support him. I said before and I will say it again, if you don't like the code, you have the power to change it. I could understand if the council was upset with me for not doing my job. But both Councilman Giles and Councilman Pastor are upset with me for doing my job on matters that affect their friends or constituents. It is very stressful to work under that pressure. It is not fair that it's made to feel that I will be under public scrutiny if I give a citation to one of their friends or constituents. It's a small town. We all know each other. Every week I have to deal with a code issue with a friend, neighbor, client, or acquaintance. And I try to treat everybody the same. In regard to the issue with Councilman Giles regarding a house on Sutherland, this house has been torn down. It was a case that was given to me that I inherited when I started my job here. It's taken care of. The house that has been an eyesore for years is now torn down. I consider that a victory. At the last council meeting, Councilwoman Giles made a statement that she broke up a meeting law to advocate for her husband. The issue is that she's concerned about is that I asked why he didn't have a business license for his business, Metal in Motion. He makes things and sells them, including commercial signs that should have a business license. To my knowledge, he has not obtained one yet. 5, 10, 20 years ago, I probably would have quit my job and found another, as I have quit jobs before for mean girl / bullying behavior. But not now. I enjoy my work family, my job, and the challenges it brings. I enjoy being part of the City of Globe team. I used to love to present to council and share with you new things that I was working on or my success stories that I've had. My experience on November 10th with the 2 council people soured me on that experience. Why would I share my victories if a council person is so negative he tells me that they don't consider my victories a victory? I have coworkers that told me there's no way they would present to council to get ambushed like I did. This is so sad to me. One comment by Councilman Pastor was that so insulting was, you seem to be making it up as you go along. Well, that is literally what I was hired to do. I was told to build the code enforcement program from the ground up. I went to Code Enforcement League of Arizona meetings and conferences. I became an officer with the Code Enforcement League of Arizona on the board. I networked and made contacts with people that have been doing this for 20 plus years to gain insight from their knowledge. It was said to me as an insult, but I did make it up as I went along. I have built a successful program and I'm proud of it. And here's the thing, not once did Councilman Pastor, Councilman Giles ask me, hey, I would really like to understand your job better. Can I do a ride along with you and see what you have to deal with on a daily basis? They haven't asked me, what safety measures do you take on the street and to go home safe to your family? Are you being safe out there while you're enforcing code? It's okay if you don't like how I do my job, or that it affects you and that you have to listen to constituents complain to you. Heck, you don't even have to like me, but we should be professional and work together. But in the future, all I ask, if you don't like my job performance, that of my coworkers, be classy and have a conversation with HR or a supervisor behind closed doors. I'm invested here. I've raised my family here. I have a home here. We have a business here. I sell real estate here in Globe. I want more than anything to be part of a positive and productive organization, and the City of Globe has the potential to be that. Council, it's up to you. Please assure me and my coworkers that this type of event won't happen again. Please make a decision tonight that helps forge the path for all of our future success. Thank you.
Thank you. So if there's no other comments, I would like to entertain a motion, and I would like to, for the records, at least read the statement, have the statement read of the, whether we put censorship or would you be able to read that, Tina, the last part of that draft?
Your section 5.
Yeah, the paragraph, I'm sorry, I don't have it with me, the statement that
Okay, the one with
has
the
a blank in it.
Okay, that is section 5.
Oh, section 5, I'm sorry.
Section 5.
In accordance with the Code of Ethics, the council hereby issues a blank to indicate their disapproval of Councilwoman Giles's conduct and finds that such actions are inappropriate for any city official and cannot be tolerated by the City of Globe. The council hereby finds that by engaging in such conduct, Councilwoman Giles showed extremely poor judgment, which reflects poorly on the city council and the city as a whole. And then section 6 would be the removal of her position on the library committee, downtown association, and bed tax committee, if you choose to do so.
Thank you, Tina.
Roll call?
Just entertain a motion on the items if this council wishes to move forward with section 5 and section 6 and fill in the blank of either censorship or
Reprimand.
reprimand.
Can I have that back, please? Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion. First of all, I recommend to this body that we do not remove any language that has already been placed in this already agreed statement. To answer your question about the one word.
Extremely.
Extremely. I don't approve of striking any language after it's already been approved by both city's attorney and Charlene's attorney.
Councilman, if I can, it wasn't approved beforehand. The only thing that was approved was her allegations that she admitted to and the apology.
Okay.
So section 5 and 6 were not reviewed before they were made public to
Okay,
the
so I
city.
strike that was already approved, but
Right.
my recommendation still stands. Do not remove any language. In regards to section 5, I motion that in accordance with the Code of Ethics, the council hereby issues a censure to indicate their disapproval of Councilwoman Giles' conduct that finds that such actions are inappropriate for any city official and cannot be tolerated by the City of Globe. The council hereby finds that by engaging in such conduct, Councilwoman Giles showed extremely poor judgment, which reflects poorly on the city council and the city as a whole. In addition, moving on to section 6, I motion that, in addition, the council hereby finds that Councilwoman Giles shall be removed from her position on the following Library Committee, Downtown Committee, and Bed Tax Committee.
Mr. Mayor, if you could entertain another motion?
What's that?
If you'd entertain another motion, I'd make a motion that we adopt section 5 in the way that it was read with the censorship. And section 6, in addition, the council hereby finds that Councilwoman Giles shall be removed from her position on the following Library Committee, Downtown Association, and Bed Tax Committee for a period of review after 8 months.
Mayor,
Go ahead, Fernando.
point of order, I think once there's a motion, it either has to die for lack of a second or someone seconds it, and then there's another motion.
My understanding.
So I don't think you can have two standing motions.
My understanding is you could put a motion on top of a motion.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Bill, are you listening?
Yes, second, my camera's not on, I don't think. Okay. Fernando's right. You, once you have a motion, you have a second, and then you can amend the motion.
So then I ask for the question, do we have a motion on the initial, do we have a second on the initial motion made by Freddie? I'm sorry. Okay, we have a motion and a second at this time for the initial motion that was made by Freddie. Do we have any further discussion on it?
Who seconded? I didn't hear it.
Mike Pastor, Councilman Pastor.
Okay.
So I'll call for the question. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Nay.
Motion passed.
Do we want to, okay,
You want to do a roll call or?
we need to do a roll call.
Mr. Mayor, under the new open meeting law, you need to have a roll call because you don't have unanimity.
Okay, you want to do that, Shelley?
Mr. Mayor. Okay, call for the motion. District 1, Councilman Rios.
Aye.
District 2, Councilman Pastor. District 3, Councilman Leatham.
Nay.
District 4, Vice Mayor Stapleton.
Aye.
Mayor Gameros.
Aye.
The ayes have it, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Shelley.
Shipley.
And Mr.
Oh, I'm sorry. District 6, Councilman Shipley.
Nay.
And so,
So I have 4 yes votes and 2 no votes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor.
and Mr. Mayor, members of the council, can I ask Bill, can you explain why we only have 6 voting?
Council, and we discussed with Councilmember Charlene that she'd have a conflict to vote on this. That's why you have 6 voting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll go to item B.
Mayor, can I just make a comment real quick before we leave that topic?
Go ahead.
I just felt the reason I voted nay is I do believe that violating the open meeting law was a substantial thing. But I felt like she's worked really hard and I didn't feel like taking her off the committees was, well, that I didn't want to go that far. So that's why I voted nay. Thank you.
Item B, council will consider and possibly approve the transfer of general fund contingency funds in the amount of $14,000 to account number 10-50-51226, mayor and council outside legal counsel, to fund investigative services provided by Fitzgibbons Law Offices, P.L.C., and $17,340 to account number 10-55-51226, administrative outside legal counsel, to fund additional city attorney fees incurred by the administration of enforcement requirements of the City of Globe Code of Ethics Public Officials provided by Sims Mackin LTD for a total contingency transfer fund of $31,340 from account number 10-55-53000 admin contingency, and request to waive section 2-4-10A for prior discussion rule.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, in putting together the FY 2021 budget, we did not dedicate funds to this magnitude to cover the activities that we are completing tonight. In ability to keep to make the payments and keep the budget on track, we were asking for this transfer of $31,340. This money, we got estimates from Fitzgibbons Law. We believe we'll stay under those estimates of 14,000, but we should have enough to cover, no problem there. And then we have with our current city attorney, since the beginning of this process, we're estimating about the 17,000. We believe that covers the current amount of activity that is in addition to the normal activity by our city attorney. So we had him sort his costs by the activities, and so this is what we're asking to move so we can stay on track with the budget.
Do we have a motion?
Motion made and waive the rules.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, for approval of item 7B and waiving of the rules. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Any abstaining? Motion passed. We go to late agenda items. Do we have any late agenda items?
We do.
Item A. Consideration to approve the Historic Preservation Advisory Commission recommendations for a mural request for Christy Cothran, owner of Bouquets on Broad Street, located at 310 North Broad Street. And this is a recommendation from the Historic Preservation Advisory Group. And we have Rachel. Do we have Rachel on the, or do
I don't. I can call her.
can we just have a report from? Yeah, I was at that meeting. I can give some comments, and then if we can ask Christy any questions if you have some. They voted unanimously to approve the historic preservation, to approve the mural that was that we have in our packets, and that was the poppy's on the, and it'll be on the south wall of your building, which is that roadway there. So that was approved. The questions that were asked was, is that a permanent mural, and how long, and how large was it? Because we didn't have the answer to that.
Mayor, it has the dimensions here.
Oh, does it? Okay.
It does. It says it's by 10 feet wide by 12 feet tall.
Okay, good. Nice. Yeah, it's an amazing mural, and it looks great. And then Patty, okay. It will be probably that. Yeah, that's really part of our community, I think. The other question was, and I think that's more of logistics for our city. When she paints that mural, how long will it take her? When is the time? When will she do it? And I think, do we have to have blockage to, to protect her as she paints that mural? That'll be later on. I think that's just questions that were brought up, if so we can protect. I think the city, we'd have to request that for the city to put the barricades if we need to, or whatever. Okay. But it's a great mural. It's very nice, and it was.
Mr. Mayor, if there's no other questions or comments, I motion to accept the Historic Preservation Advisory Committee recommendations to go forward with the Poppy Fest mural.
We have a motion and a second for approval of the mural requested by Christy Cothran. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Any abstaining? Motion passed. Thank you, Christy. We have our second call to the public. Do we have anybody on email or call?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I have an email from Tracy Quick, and she addresses Mr. Mayor and Council. I would like to add eyewitness testimony to the importance of Councilwoman Giles in regard to the two previous public comments. The Downtown Association, I have witnessed multiple examples of Councilwoman Giles and her husband supporting the craziness nights of the year, Halloween. They delivered candy to small businesses in the downtown in the middle of chaos that is so fun. They have both been there multiple years and are much appreciated by the small businesses that enjoy one of the most the best nights of the year, mine at least. Also, in regard to the Downtown Association, I've seen Councilwoman Giles dressed as a Santa's helper when Santa comes to town, once again, more than once. She is clearly willing to give so much of herself, something not all that are present in this meeting can lay claim to. As for the High Desert Humane Society, I've witnessed Councilwoman Giles and her husband in front of Farley's Pub, grilling hot dogs and such. Farley's had kindly sponsored a fundraiser for our local Humane Society, and Councilwoman Giles stepped up to help make it a success. I am perhaps too late, as the vote may have happened by the time this is read, but I ask that council to reconsider what appears to be a foregone conclusion. Suspend the councilwoman to make the point that she has erred, but don't punish the entire city by removing her permanently from committees she clearly supports and assists. Please don't turn a personal issue into an irreversible personal item. Best regards, Tracy Quick.
You have another? I think we have one more.
I have a request to call Tammy Goody.
Yeah, we have someone who'd like to call in, and this is second call to the public, so we do need to let her know that it's limited to three minutes. Hello, Tammy, are you there?
Hello? Yes, I am.
Tammy, you are before Globe Council, and your call is limited to 3 minutes.
That's fine. I just wanted to mention that I felt that the Globe Police, including the chief, need to be trained further on how to deal with people who do live in this community who suffer with mental illnesses. Some of us have had some bad experiences with some of the officers, and I believe it's because of lack of training. I had heard recently, within the last year, that NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, had come to Globe and trained some of the EMTs on how to deal with people who have mental illness in their interactions. And they did it for free. And the chief recently told me, we were having a not so good conversation, but I won't go into that. And he said it wasn't in your budget to be able to train these officers further into how to deal with people with mental illness that do live in our community. And I researched NAMI. I heard that they had come to Globe and taught the EMTs and that they did it for free. And I thought, gee, wouldn't that be great if the city of Globe would call them and ask them if they could come and train our officers. I've gone so far, I did send you an email, but I've gone so far as to get the phone number for the one closest to us. It's in Lakeside. The phone number is 928-298-1914. And just call them and see if they can come train these guys. Right now, as it stands, not just from my own personal experience, but from some other people that I go to mental health groups with, they're either threatened with jail, or they're just straight up sent to the psych hospital. And really, all they need sometimes is just somebody to listen to them, to find out what's really going on. Right now, they don't know what's going on with the people with mental illness when they come upon them for whatever reason. And if they just listen to what is coming out of their mouths, you know. I try to tell me to be this, but we're not crazy. We just have mental illness. And for me to say that out loud in the same sentence, you're probably thinking it was a contradictory statement, but really it's not. A lot of people mistake my mental illness as being stupid. And I tell them I'm highly educated. I'm far from stupid. So a lot of times they think I'm crazy because I have a mental illness. And then that kind of in turn sets the stage for how we're treated by law enforcement when they come to a call when we're in crisis, because they don't know how to deal with it. And I think that if they were able to get that training, life would be so much better for not just the rest of the community, but the community that involves people like me who have mental illness, who have had to go through extra pain and suffering because these people don't have the training. It's very important. This will be the last time I talk to you about this. This will be the only time. My mental illness has taken its toll, and I'm not going to be around here much longer. But I just wanted to be the voice because I felt that it was something that needed to be talked about, at least by you, and for all the other people that suffer from mental illness that live in this community. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, Tammy.
Tammy, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any other,
I
Shelley?
think that's it.
We'll go to scheduling of meetings.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, just real quick, we've had multiple conversations with Tammy. You're fully aware of her requests, but I will circle back and touch bases with her and also share some information with council regarding her some of her suggestions.
Scheduling of meetings, anything?
Nothing out of the ordinary.
Future agenda items, does council have any future agenda items they want to see on
Microphone? Microphone.
Microphone.
I would suggest that for a future meeting, we look at the Code of Ethics and what we might need to do to revise it and update it, since it is dated 2013. Okay, Paul?
Yes, Councilman Pastor, thank you very much. We will add that to the list and prioritize that.
Oh, Mayor, I got something.
Go ahead, Fernando.
So tonight, I think you brought up during your opening comments about Gila County's going to hire 2 employees, and there's going to be a shared funding of these employees to clean up the highway corridor. And I'd like to see that on the agenda because I just have a few suggestions, and so can we get that on the agenda item?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, Councilman Shipley, yes, we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe a good presentation would be the county, since they're the main
Yeah.
hires on it, and give us an explanation. It was the initial meeting as just to get some contingency interest in it, and
Right.
it was a good meeting. And I think we're going to have enough stakeholders in the group to get this program off the ground.
No, our plan had been to bring that forward, but definitely we'll add it to the list, make sure we get that as soon as we can, as soon as the county's ready.
Any other items?
We need to go back into, or
Well,
Yeah.
we tabled that.
So,
Yeah, so we're gonna adjourn into
now,
E-session.
Mr. Mayor, members of council, before you go, I believe some of the members of the audience are here to hear the results of that. And Bill, we're gonna try to shift, instead of making them leave, we can go back into E-session that way. And so we'll probably do the phone call conversation, allow Bill to call in, and Councilman Shipley to call in. So Bill, I'm gonna get on the phone real quick, but Danny's gonna put you in the waiting room. Everybody here in the council chambers again can stay and let us go have our conversation, and we'll come out, and then we'll bring back up the
Hopefully.
Tell you, after we're done, I'll tell you something.
We'll go back to what item was that?
No, 4B.
4B?
502.
Yeah.
4B. Okay, so it's, council will hear an update on the City of Globe Business Relief Grant Program. You want to give that update, Paul?
Mr. Mayor, members of council, yes, thank you very much. Again, we were made aware of concerns about how I think the money was being spent as part of the program business relief, and we weren't sure exactly what the nature of the concerns were or the scope of the concerns. I can tell you now that we have learned that the concerns were narrowly related to the City of Globe CIP list of items to be purchased, which what we labeled as AZ Cares money, but what we should have called money freed up by AZ Cares. So the police cars, fire truck, and some other things that we had budgeted with our city funds, City of Globe funds that were freed up because we received AZ Cares.
Yeah, I got no volume.
What's that? Okay, so AZ Cares money that we applied for AZ Cares money. We submitted our cost for regular time public safety. We received that AZ Cares money. Everything's fine there. What they had questions about how we looked at spending the money that we listed as CIP that was general funds. That money is going to be continued to be spent, and we are now able to, with assurance, reopen the business relief grant funding program now that we know the full scope and of the accusations. And this is after meeting with U.S. Treasury officials who share with us the nature of the concerns. And so, and just to be clear, the nature of the concerns were not about our grant program. It was not about any of the Arizona cities that did a business relief grant fund, and so we were much more confident in that, and are ready to let Local First tomorrow know that they can continue with the program and continue sending out the money and continue the process. Just pick it up where they left off. Mr. Mayor, members of council, is that a good rendition of? Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to get right. Okay.
Is that opening immediate tomorrow then?
As soon as we can get on the phone and let Kimber know, and I don't know if she has to gear up. I don't know what her staffing is. Okay. I don't know where she's at.
Okay.
But we will let her know that we're back on track, approved to continue the distribution of the funds, and hopefully we get out there as soon as we can to the people who need those money. Linda, did I forget anything? Anything else? Okay. Probably it covers it doubly, but thank you. I was trying to not misspeak.
So no motion needed.
No, this is an update. It's a presentation, and thank you all for sticking it out to get to this point. I'm sorry, but it took so long for you. But it is good news.
I call for motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for attending.